Outsourcing the marketing efforts for your design firm or for your personal brand might actually be the most dangerous thing you can do for your business. Why? Stay tuned. Giving architects and landscape architects the tools and strategies to be seen, heard, and valued in the marketplace, and telling the stories of leaders building thriving design firms and attracting their ideal clients. This is From Architecture to Profitecture. I'm your host, Jay Krakowski. Let's get started. Fellow and future Profitex, hello, how are you? Welcome to this week's show where we're talking about why you shouldn't outsource your firm's marketing, why you shouldn't outsource your self-promotion. I was inspired to create this episode today based on yesterday's vlog from Ryan Serhant. Yes, the silver-haired real estate mogul from $1 Million Listing New York. He's got a great vlog and a great team that supports him. But all he spoke about yesterday was the need to self-promote. If you are a business owner in 2020, you have to be holding the reins of all of your marketing efforts, all of your promotional efforts. What I see in a lot of architecture and design firms is the notion that a more cinematic firm profile, a video monograph, if you will, should be the be-all, end-all to tell the story of the firm, to tell about their goals and ideals and about the history of the staff and how they see the world, and making that huge investment, often a huge investment, into creating a 10-minute cinematic saga might actually be really dangerous for your business. And that's all in terms of control of the messaging. Now, I can understand when you look at, let's say, the Frank Gehry Masterclass, or you look at different video monographs that other firms at the top of their game, both on the architecture and the landscape architecture side, that they come to create. I can see how those are so enticing. I mean, they're beautiful. They're beautifully shot and scripted, and the music and all of it put together. It looks amazing, but it is a huge investment, and it doesn't necessarily attract your ideal clients. It might be something pretty to look at, potentially ego stroking, potentially raising your standing within the industry. But the goal of this podcast and the goal of my work at Profitecture by Design is really about getting the best clients in your door, the best clients work in your portfolio. Let's look at the flip side of that, as opposed to the big cinematic things. How many design firms, how many architects, landscape architects do you know? Let's start with your local market that are say killing it on Instagram, have a great following, or have a great set of images, and they're getting clients. And every time you see them, granted we can't have in-person networking at the moment, but anytime you talk to them, they say, "Oh yeah, I've got more projects than I can handle," or "I've got this great client," or "I've got this amazing project where I'm getting to try something new." And you're scratching your head saying, well, how are they doing it just based off, say Instagram? Or someone like Eric Reinhold, 30 by 40 Design Workshop, has created this honestly cinematic monograph of his own firm. He's doing it by himself. He's not hiring a big production crew to come in, but he's able to tell the stories of how he sees architecture, how he sees his client work, how he sees working with other consultants. He's telling these stories with just him and a couple cameras. Or to go back to Instagram, you've got Anthony Laney and Laney LA. They're showing more than just their work. They're showing it very well, and they're describing it very well and getting into the details, but they're also talking about firm culture. They're also presenting their personality. And so what this goes back to is you run the risk in outsourcing to a social media management company, or bringing in a video production team to create your firm profile. Many firms feel that they need to have a firm profile video. It'll sit on the About Me page, and that will tell the whole story and take it or leave it clients. But often that leaves out the owner and the staff. That leaves you out. And you run the risk in simply sending a bunch of images and your credentials and all this stuff to a social media management team, that your personality isn't there. It may not be there. And that's such a critical piece of creating these connections, these face-to-face, eye-to-eye connections with clients that honestly gets the deals done. It's not the portfolio. It's not how well or how clever your website is. It's the person to person. It's the trust that's built between people that gets contracts signed and gets work created and work done. So let's talk about self-promotion. That might be scary to some of you. Say, well, I'm not ready to just jump on a camera, Jake, and just talk about myself. And that's not what I'm getting at. Self-promotion is, in fact, it's as much talking about you, if not more so, talking about your client stories. And I know I hammer this home quite a bit, but the important part to note here, and I'm going to pull a quote from Ryan's video yesterday, is when you're a business owner, especially running a design firm, he said, you need to play the game on the field and you need to be the cheerleader at the same time. And that's often difficult because we love to focus on playing the game, on our work, and showing our work is, I don't have a portfolio piece to put up in front of the camera, but if you're only showing your work, if you're only playing the game on the field, as you say, you're blocking yourself. You're not in front and center in the picture if you're only relying on putting up past images of projects on Instagram, or not having any audio or video presence at all out there. And if this year has shown us anything, it's that we as business owners and as design professionals, we need to be out there on social media, on camera, on podcasts. We need to be screaming our value and showing our value. We need to be putting it out there more than ever because we have so much less face-to-face interaction. We have so many fewer chances for in-person networking and the like. So telling these stories online and almost over promoting yourself, and that's a whole other topic for social media. But in this day and age, you really can't over promote yourself, in my opinion, because the organic reach on all these social platforms is so low, and Google seems to change their algorithm every month and affect SEO, that you almost can't put enough media out into the world. I know Gary Vaynerchuk says that a lot and says you should be creating 50 to 100 pieces a day. Oh boy. That's not me, by the way. But the idea of self-promotion is something to really to sit with and chew on. And it's not easy. It does take perseverance to put out, say, a string of Instagram posts and only have a couple likes, maybe a comment here or there. And you're wondering, well, why am I doing this? If it's not getting the traction immediately, well, it's building your long-term brand. And it's, especially if you dig into either your personal story in the captions or how you ushered a client through your design process and the change that they saw in their lives or in their businesses, if you're able to tell those stories, and in that case, it becomes a copywriting exercise. Or if you're putting yourself out on doing Facebook or Instagram lives, or you're documenting your design process on YouTube, you need to be front and center in that process and in that documentation. It can't just be, here's what we do in schematic design, here's what we do in design development, because that doesn't portray value strongly enough, and it doesn't make the connection with your ideal clients that we need, again, to get the 6 foot away handshake and the contract signed. This is so important because when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, the only one that truly cares about your personal brand, the only one that truly cares about your design firm and the value and its brand it's you. As the leader, as the owner, it's you. So you need to be the head cheerleader. You need to be quarterback and you need to be cheerleader at the same time. It's not necessarily easy, but at the end of the day, you are the best part of your brand. I believe that. And that's why messaging and going direct to camera like this, it's something to work up to, I know. But that's why I feel so strongly that it makes the best connections, and it's what's brought success to my design business, to JWK Design, which is my my other job, as opposed to this podcast and the work I'm starting to do with Profitecture by Design. So at the end of the day, it's you, and I want to help you to come out from behind your portfolio and say your credentials. And later this month, as I've been mentioning in the last few weeks, I'm going to be hosting a workshop, Invisible to Invaluable. Be starting Wednesday, August 26th. It'll all be live, just like this, probably in this room. And we are going to put together a content plan for you. We're going to talk about your messaging. We're going to talk about how that appeals to your ideal clients. We're going to talk about the stories of past clients or your potential future ideal clients, and how you could start to craft those into your Instagram captions, into live videos, into videos that you take on site visits, or in writing on your blog, or if you're doing a piece for medium.com or anything like that, maybe Twitter, maybe it's a little short, but we're going to work through that for 3 days. There's going to be morning mindset sessions, and that'll be 9 a.m. Eastern. And then at noon Eastern, we'll have in-depth actionable training, where at the end of the 3 days, you will have a plan in hand. You will have content planned out. And I'm not saying we're going to plan a year's content in 3 days. Although you probably could if you really sat down to it. But this is going to be short, bite-sized, actionable training so that you can continue to create momentum. And especially if you haven't been keeping up, and with all the craziness, I know, especially this past week, all the school closures and postponements have been released. A lot of chatter, especially I'm seeing on Facebook groups about what are we going to do now, or wow, this is really going to change how I operate my business. This really pushes the need forward to be personal and to be empathetic to our potential clients, because they need that too, as much as we need it as people. Putting content out there in the world, our potential clients need that too, and showing that is going to be, I think it's going to make all the difference in getting the right clients, at least signed on board. So any questions about that, visit profitecturebydesign.com. You can get on the wait list. You'll be the first to know when the doors open. Or you can send me a direct message at Jake Krakowski, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Tell me you're interested. Tell me if you'd like more details. And again, you'll be first to know when the doors open in just a couple weeks here. And until next week, make it a great week, because our success is inevitable. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you stay up to date with future episodes. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn at Jake Krakowski. And for show notes and much more, visit profitecturebydesign.com/podcast.